At the end of Lin-Manuel Miranda's infamous musical, Alexander Hamilton lies dying after being shot in the chest in a duel. At this point, the multicultural cast sings one final song with the words, "Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?" as the musical comes to a quiet end. Luckily for Hamilton, an immigrant from the Caribbean, his legacy as a general, lawyer, abolitionist, and founding father was already established well before his death. However, for the thousands of Americans who happen to be immigrants living in this great country, who tells their story?
Ooh, StoryBored USA.
Hello there, Storyboarders. I'm William D. Caballero, and welcome to another episode of StoryBored USA. Today we're going to focus on the millions of immigrants who come to this country to obtain a sliver of the American dream, and yet whose story goes untold. These people can be your neighbors, your teachers, your doctors, and even your parents. In a world saturated with media nonsense and celebrity-driven garbage, it's important for artists to use our craft to highlight their unique stories, humanizing them whenever possible.
Art is something that anyone can use to express themselves, especially young immigrants, or anyone who feels excluded from the American narrative. The only way people are going to know about your story is if you tell them how you feel, if you tell them what you've experienced.
That's Gonzalo Alvarez, a talented illustrator and video game designer from Texas. His arcade game, Borders, recently went viral on social media. The game is based on his experiences as the son of Mexican undocumented immigrants.
My parents growing up would always tell me their stories about how they had to cross the border, how hard it was, all the different elements that they had to go against, the border patrol, the heat, just all the different dangers that are in the border. And I wanted to create something that could simulate that experience for people who have never experienced that, to be able to understand what it's like to do so.
We'll come back to Borders later, but first, I'm not throwing away my shot to talk about Hamilton for a little bit more. The Broadway musical Hamilton features a cast of mostly Black and Latino actors to tell the story of white colonial America, showcasing the connections between Alexander Hamilton and that of the modern immigrant experience. Throughout the musical, Hamilton is able to win over some American founding fathers, but not all of them, simply because he's an immigrant. The musical shows that against all odds, an immigrant can succeed in this country by embracing its promise of diversity, while also realizing that many people here are apprehensive of its diversity. In short, there is some truth to the statement that immigrants have to work twice as hard to get half of what non-immigrants already have.
And I feel that the value of hard work is something that a lot of immigrants know, because there's extra steps that they must take to be able to function in the same society as everyone else. And I feel that that hard work ethic really allows immigrants to shine in whatever field that they want to work in.
The same could be said of a hardworking artist with a unique vision. Society may look at us as being weird or strange simply because we have a different outlook on life. We see possibility where others see stagnation, and we believe in hard work. In short, we are able to create our own happiness where others simply cannot. Gonzalo, tell us about your other project, Pollo Man, which is based on your own Mexican culture.
The Legend of Pollo Man is a Mexican fantasy adventure comic about a cowardly boy who has to defeat Latin folklore creatures like La Llorona and El Cucuy. The boy falls into this fantasy world inspired by Mesoamerican and Mexican culture, and as the only human, he has to travel the land alongside Cuca, a roach wizard. The entirety of this comic really just deals with this guy overcoming his real-world fears and being able to show real-life problems that Latinos grow up with, like cultural barriers and isolation, as well as bullying. And I just really wanted to create a beautiful fantasy world for Mexican culture.
And lastly, Gonzalo, let's hear more about Borders.
The whole goal is just to get to the border. Along the way, you have bushes you can hide in to avoid the border patrol, which has a sort of area that it's vision. And if you're in that vision area, you'll get caught, and then you'll end up dying. The moment that your character dies, a skeleton is going to be left behind in the exact position you died. So whenever you start the game over, or when another player plays the game, they're going to be able to see all the skeletons of the people who have played before them. Seeing those skeletons not only helps the players see where the dangers are in the game world that I created, but also see how many people die every single year just trying to cross the border, and just how big the death toll is. If you really want to tell your story, you'll find means to do so. This was my first video game that I've ever created. I've been only illustrating for the past 3 years. And I feel that if I can do something like this that was completely new to me, anyone can achieve what it is they want to achieve.
Hey there, William D. Caballero. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of StoryBored USA. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button below and tell all your friends about this show. We're coming back with many more episodes that explore the creative process in an effort to help you, the viewer, understand the power of your creative voice. So thank you so much, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time.